I want to present to you our OpenNet, the company, which is created by the government of Georgia's initiative, and and I want to talk about the innovations that were made by this company, and our goal for our country is to create a better infrastructure for and this and to create a web of all these systems, one web for all these systems. And I want to just present this to you. I want to talk about some data that I've collected for this. But for the last description, Georgia, there's 3 million. In short, there was one. There's a.
The market is very developed. We have 43 3 percent of accessibility, 42% of the internet accessibility, and we have the 4 fixed the players. The regulation sphere is very developed, and we have the 4% of the turnover, which meets all the needs of such kind of market. For the fixed customers increase year by year. It proved by the regulatory commission. Fiber and wireless wide band, let's say the system proves that. So do we have diminishes 61% of the villages are not covered by and not some settlements are not covered by 94%. So we have 280 cities are covered, where we have 60% of population. As I mentioned, about 40% are covered. 40% we have accessibility in Georgia today. We talked about a lot of initiatives what the private sector has, government has, and those services should be provided to the population in a electronic form. But as for the sustainable development that will be provided to the population, it's not possible. That is why we created OpenNet. That it is created to develop and in the future operate in a wide band infrastructure. It has the council, and it is funded by grants by the charity fund. OpenNet is the wholesale, the operator doesn't enters the market separately. Main principles of it are we enter those places where we have the deficiency of the services, where customers don't have the full access, or if they have it, limits. So we enter the optic line, and there we're having the open access to the population. If we orient it on it, it means that with the non-discriminatory rules, the basis, we can provide all the providers for the and that wholesale the provider for a small size operator, or the bigger operators, they who intend to bring those where we are going to enter. territorially we don't, let's say, identify the accessibility when the operator, how it will be provided, whether it is wireless or we're not involving in the process. This is neutrality, absolutely. So we're doing this to incent the competitiveness. We have and then customers had different options, and I had to tell you that they had access to with the electronic formats. About this is how it looks. This infrastructure need to be changed. It will be built in 3 years. After 3 years, the coverage zones will be about 9,000 optic lines.
We're supposed to hire from the other providers which has a fiber structure already, so we will hire it from them, and fully within 3 years we will cover about 250,000 urban areas. What do we expect from it? We expect that average speed of internet access will be increased in Georgia, and by 2022 we hope to have cover at least 90% of population, and the minimum package 50 megabits per second will be available. What's OpenNet effect? What would happen without establishing OpenNet? Very often for operators it's very expensive to enter the regions which are remote and the density of population is very low. It's especially expensive and hard to establish the fiber nets there. So that's why we're cooperating with German colleagues, the company called Detecol, and we're trying to for the infrastructure, not only considering the short-term but as well as long-term goals. So by 2025 the infrastructure will be developed fully in the regions which we already consider. The access to the internet for population is 42% currently, and we hope that by 2025 the number of subscribers will be 76%. It means that about 98% of population will have access to the internet, and 76 will use it. Currently, the average consumption for the subscriber per month is 90 gigabytes, but we observe the tendency of increase, and by 2025 it will be about 420. It's not only OpenNet effect, it's just general growth effect as well. There is also a tendency of increasing of the mobile operators traffic. By 2025 we will have the value of 365 petabytes for average consumer. Thank you very much.